Hey, this is BJ O'Neill with Business Coach Mastery with a training all about solving lead generation, specifically through networking. So, here are the few mistakes that I have made in the past, coaches make still to this very day. I know they're going to probably sound very, like common sense, but it happens all the time. Number one, you have to have the right kind of mindset. When we talk about the term lead gen, when we talk about the term networking, I understand that that sounds, we'll call it analytical, if you will, or just boring. I've heard from others to say that's what it feels to them. But when you change the mindset as a believer, as a Christian, when we change the mindset that says, I'm going to build authentic relationships, people I want to care about, that I want to help, potentially even solve some of their problems, and build authenticity, both with prospects, those who we may be able to help who own businesses, but also those in your sphere who are connected to the business community who can connect you to others. When we start off automatically at the very beginning by saying, I really want to build my network and I want to build a sphere, people that I get to know. And I just think it can completely have transformation as to you actually going to do the thing. All right. So here's several mistakes that we make. Number one, doing it halfway. I know that this sounds pretty elementary, right? But it still happens today to where, if we're going to go do something, don't just leave anything on the table. Make a strong, solid plan. We're going to talk about that, but don't do it halfway. Don't go to it with a bad attitude. Don't go to a networking event. I really don't want to do this, whatever. No, you have to see the power of what building relationships through different channels, what it can do to transform and to build a legitimate, long-lasting, solid six-figure business coaching practice for you. But it starts with not having the mindset to just do it halfway. No, I'm going to go into this thing and I'm going to do it well. I'm going to do it right. I'm going to get better at it every single event. Some events I may not have any connections with anybody. Some I'm going to crush it. Doesn't matter. When it's all said and done, I'm going to make a difference. Okay. The other mistake that a lot of coaches make is a low quantity. If you are already coaching, or you're thinking about coaching, or maybe you've done some things in the past where you've used networking, a mistake that I see is going to, once or twice a month. Well, if you go once or twice a month, you're going to get once or twice a month results. To really be in the top 3%, well, what we mean by that is we're willing to do what 97% of others won't do, which isn't difficult. That means that, we all have a different timetable. Some people have only 10 hours a week to be able to coaching because they're doing other things. They maybe have a W-2 job. They own businesses or whatever. Some are full-blown, full-time. They've got all 40, 50 hours a week to spend in building their coaching business. So remember, it's what's given the frame has to be with whatever time that you have available to build your coaching practice. For context, though, if you really want to be in that top 3%, you want to go to 2 or 3 per week. Absolutely. Now, you may say, well, I don't have that much time. Okay, fine. At least go to 1 per week if you can. The bigger thing is don't make the mistake of just having too little. And the last one is no preparation. The event's this morning at 7:30. It's a breakfast. You've spent zero time even thinking about it. You show up a snag big late. You've got your brain wrapped around the things you got to do for the rest of the day or the rest of the week, and you're just not really totally present. Well, that's not going to help you. Now think about it. If you're doing things halfway, you're doing them only once or twice a month, and you have no preparation to it. Why do you think that it's a struggle for so many people? So here's how we solve that. Number one, you do want to make sure that are the networking groups that I'm going to participate in, are they the right ones? Do they have the types of businesses that I want to work with? That could be industry, that could be the size of businesses. Whatever. The bigger thing is you want to make sure that you're not just going to that event or that group because it's a group. You want to ask the questions, does this really fulfill what it is that I'm trying to accomplish? The next is strategy. Now, here's one for you. Now, I believe that it's kind of strategy kind of tied in with mindset. I'm not sure what I did with my hands there, but I was trying to tie them in together. I don't know. You get the point. But in a sense, it's like, I'm going to go to this group and I'm going to become the man. Now, that doesn't mean that we're making it all about us. What I'm simply meaning is, please understand the context here. I'm going to get to know everybody in that group. I'm going to become a connector. I'm going to invite others to that group. I'm going to get to know the leadership of that group. I'm going to become the hunted in that group. Because that kind of mindset and that activity, that's where you absolutely are laying the foundations of things that's going to happen right now, 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, and so on. I have some beautiful relationships that I've known for 15 or 20 years that started out in networking groups that today we still do business together. Why? Because the mindset in the beginning was, I'm building these relationships for a long term. So the strategy is, I'm not just going to go. This is part of that halfway thing, right? I'm not just going to go. I'm going to connect. I'm going to serve. Ask that leadership team, what can I do to serve this community, right? Be the person that's greeting somebody. Be the person that's, introducing people. Like, that's how you become the man. And I'm just using that as a reference. I know that sounds a little bit arrogant, and that's not really what I mean by it. It just simply means mentally and psychologically and from a mindset, I'm going to show up, I'm going to serve, and I'm going to get well known, and I'm going to do it quickly because I'm going to get plugged in. That's the strategy. The next, you got to have a plan. Inside our done-for-you system that's all the coaches on our team use, we have a complete and total, full-blown strategic plan. This is the beautiful part about having a system that you can use, and you're not just having to create it on your own. In that plan, it's broken down into 3 parts. A before, like here are the things that I'm going to do before. Here are the things I'm going to do during, and here are the things I'm going to do after. That's how you get in the top 3% of coaches, because you're willing to do what the 97% are not going to do. In that during, and that post, I've got multiple steps of things that I'm going to make sure and I'm going to verify that I'm going to do every single time. Every single time. So you want to have a solid plan. Next, in that plan, you want to make sure that as you are participating, serving, connecting, getting plugged in, showing up, and you're there, that as you interact with others, that you're loaded with the correct type of questions designed to build a relationship. And honestly, another mistake that a lot of coaches make, I've made it before in the past when I just didn't know what I didn't know. And it was all wrapped around making things about me because I so badly wanted to explain to them how I could help them. But that's the wrong way to do it. You want to ask questions that begins to build a story, invites them into conversations where people begin to know you, they like you, and they trust you. You think about it, especially today. So many people walk around with this hesitancy to get to know anyone, and this wall is up, right? And so we're not even getting into, what you're going to be able to do to help them. We're talking about just building relationships and networking. That's all we're doing right now. And so you remove that wall when you authentically get to know the other person. Part of those questions and understanding as we get to know others is understand that they're probably going through some challenges. And so we, by design, ask some questions to get them to begin to talk, to open up, and we're just curious and we're just learning. And then we're armed with a message. This is our message. You can call it an elevator pitch if you want, but it just simply somewhere in that relationship building process. It may not even be the first time you have the conversation. It could be the second, it could be the third, it could be the first. But eventually, as you begin to share what you do, it's done in a very specific way. Hey, one of the things that I love to do as a business strategist, I help business owners, double the profits in their business, get clarity on what matters the most, and help them live life on their terms. Like, I just made that up, by the way. But you get the point, is that you have a predefined message ready to go. But here's the thing. You share it in a very organic, natural way. You can't rip and read. You can't be mechanical. You can't be just I've copied this out. We have elevator pitches pre-done for coaches, but they're designed to be a framework for you to use to put in your own message. And we extend that message. Hey, one of the ways that I do that, and one of the ways I get started is that it's a lot of fun. I sit down with business owners and we go through a process where we find them more than 100 grand in their business in 45 minutes without them spending an additional dime on marketing or advertising guaranteed. It's a lot of fun. And so then what we do is in those cases, I may go ahead and make a request or an invitation, maybe, or I may not. I just sharing them what I do. But the bigger thing is you want to have your message ready. And the last is having a call to action already planned and already prepared. So that call to action could be that invitation to an assessment, like in that case. Or a lot of our coaches, what they do is their call to action is they invite the prospects to an event, essentially a workshop where we teach them some content. As a matter of fact, it's an incredibly amazing strategy in all they do. They're not even willing to invite them sometimes to the assessment. They want them to come to a workshop where, as we are teaching, as we're educating, we're increasing that know, like, and trust. Our expertise, our prominence goes up. The bigger thing is for today is that you have a call to action. So what's your plan? Well, you got to have the right groups. You want to have a strategy to go in, serve, and connect and be the person everyone gets to know. You want to be armed with extremely well-defined questions that builds relationships, increase your know, like, and trust, and removes that wall of trust. You want to have a predefined message, an elevator pitch, ready to go as you're building those relationships. You're explaining what you're doing in a way where they see them in your story. And then a call to action of some sort, maybe inviting them to a workshop of yours or an assessment that you're going to do. Whatever the case may be, you want to be prepared for action. The mistake that you can make is to walk away with no action whatsoever. And what's the point of even networking? We're doing it for the reason of building a profitable, long-lasting coaching business. So there's networking solved. And I'll tell you, when you take the principles that I just shared with you, let's say that you've never done it before today in your life, and you go to do it. Do you think that you're going to get it right on the first, second, third, fourth time? Probably not. Why? You've never done it before. Be willing to do it for a long enough time that every single time you walk away, you take notes, you get better, you apply those things that you learned, you get better the next time. You get better the next time. By the time you've gotten your 10th plus event, you're going to start to get into your sweet spot. You're going to start to find your voice. You're going to start to find who you really are in those moments, and the comfortability is going to set in. And you're going to get really good, and you're going to have a magnetism to you that people really want to know from you, hear from you, be around you, right? There you go. Hope that makes sense. Maybe you're considering coaching and, hey, this is speaking to you. You'd like to talk more about networking and lead gen for you and building a legitimate, profitable business coaching practice as a Christian. That resonates with you. It doesn't matter if you still have a W-2 job. You've got you're looking at the next few years of retirement. You just want to talk about it. You go to businesscoachmastery.com. Businesscoachmastery.com. There's some information there. You can also book a quick chat with us, and we'll connect with you. Maybe somewhere on this page, depending upon if you got this in an email too. There's a place probably to connect, and we can talk further and go from there and just chat. And I'll share with you how we provide a complete and total, done-for-you systematic approach to lead generation for coaches. All right? Until next time, take care.